Welcome back to Cycling in New Zealand. I'm going to take you through days 11 and 12, and you're going to see these are some really beautiful photos on this route, as the British English say, or route, as the Americans say. Kind of leaving off where I was last time. You should know that I had gone to Takaka up here in the Golden Bay, and at this point, and I had mentioned this in one of the previous videos, but there's only one road in and one road out of Golden Bay, and I decided that I really did not want to go and have to do Takaka Hill again, backtrack that way. It was just such a physically intense experience, and I thought it'd be just an interesting and more fun to go a different way. Okay, so what I found out was that you can go through a national park and basically cut across to the west coast using what's called the Heafy Track, and it goes through Kamwenge National Park or something like that. My Maori pronunciation is just, it's embarrassing, and I apologize to all people out there all you New Zealanders who know how to pronounce those words correctly. I've always been told it's really easy to learn, but I always seem to mess it up or get something wrong in it. Anyway, so in order to do that, basically, I need to go a bit farther north because the way the track begins, it's really more of kind of basically towards the end of Golden Bay. Not quite. And but I can't leave Takaka and go there. And I'm actually in no rush to really, just kind of, I'm not trying to cycle around as fast as possible to get from one place to the other. So what I wanted to do is, I wanted to cycle up to, I believe it's called Golden Spit, and it's basically the end of the peninsula, literally the end of the road kind of up there. So it was a beautiful day when I left, and here you've been seeing how it was, and it was kind of a weird thing. I stopped in for coffee at a Warm Showers house through that website, Coffee and Cake, and I met a guy, and there's this huge thunderstorm for about 45 minutes when I was there, and then it cleared up again. Okay, but let's just continue on. So basically, I'm kind of going along down up to the north, and you see some coastal shots, and this is over 2 days. It's just basically an easy day to get there, of 30 or 40 kilometers to get there, and then I spent the next day kind of traveling around up at Golden Spit. So here's a sign. Oh, there it is, Farewell Spit. That's what it is. So at this point, I took a right to go to Farewell Spit because I was staying on the backpackers that way, and then I have to backtrack a bit to get back to the Heafy Track route. So here it is. You kind of see what it looks like on the coast. I really enjoyed being up here. Not a lot of people. It was sort of actually off-season, which is really interesting. I didn't know that there was an off-season in New Zealand until I started this trip. And in fact, some of the backpackers were beginning to close down, and I was sort of catching them up here, at least in Golden Bay, just as they were a couple weeks before closing. So that is something to look at. If you're traveling around and you're traveling in winter, they may be closed, at least the backpackers may be. So you want to kind of look at that in advance. I didn't do that, and then someone told me in Takaka, oh, you should call ahead to see who is open. So I cycled there one day, and I kind of got there late afternoon, if I remember correctly. That's just kind of an easy night. And then the next day, I went up to Farewell Spit. And you'll see these signs a lot. Cattle stop, and basically it has basically these bars on the road where cattle can't get across. This is Farewell Spit. Well, I meant the area basically, and it's sort of a sheep farm. And this is something that's interesting in New Zealand. A lot of times they have these private farms are also parks as well, so you actually walk through the sheep farm. So you might be having to walk through sheep or next to sheep or cattle, and you'll see signs that says, however you find a gate, that's how you should leave it. So if you go up to where a gate is closed, you actually need to open the gate and then go through and then close the gate, and you'll see signs for that. So here's a bit of a picture of what it looks like you see in the water, and here's another one. Yeah, so it's a really beautiful area. You can see there aren't very many people. There might be a couple people there in the distance. I've only met about 10 or 15 people during this stay, so it's a pretty it's pretty remote, but it's just really beautiful without a doubt. Yeah. All right. So this has been days 11 and 12, and then in the next video we're gonna begin what ended up being a pretty wild trip through the Heapy track. And yeah. Okay. I'll see you next time.